All right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. We're getting into the final half hour of this discussion, but the International Day Against Drug and Substance Abuse is being marked in Kisumu, and that's where Laura Otieno is joining us live from. There's a procession there that's going to happen later on. Laura, what's the latest from where you are, and what's the plan for the day?
Well, indeed, a very good morning to you, Trevor. And right now we are at the Jomo Kenyatta Sports Ground where the celebrations will be marked. But later on, there will be a procession from the governor's office coming all the way to this place. Remember, this procession will be the second one of its kind, the first one having taken place 2 days ago here in Kisumu, where NACADA was basically raising awareness of the International Day Against Drug Abuse, and they were prompting young people from all walks of life to show up at this particular place at around 10 a.m. thereabout to commemorate this particular day. And remember, this comes at the backdrop of worrying statistics of increasing, or rather the lowering of the exposure age, where the NACADA chairman had indicated that the exposure age right now stands at 4 years old and not 11 years old, as I'd earlier indicated. He's saying that this can be attributed to parents sort of obliviously doing certain activities at home. So perhaps we could listen to his sentiment that from the discussion that we had yesterday before we revert, Trevor.
The most sustainable way of dealing with this problem is winning the hearts and minds of the people, of the Kenyans, of we as parents, we as the community leaders. We must be convinced, because we are the people who introduce it in our homes during birthday parties. We are the people who introduce it during Christmas parties. We are the people in our corporate organizations. We will still have parties. So wellness, well-being, healthy living should be a part of the story.
Well, indeed, Trevor, as you have heard, that was the NACADA chairman who's expected to also give accurate statistics later on in the day. And remember, Kisumu, or Nyanza at large, has a prevalence rate of about 8%, with Nairobi still leading according to the statistics released in 2017. So, of course, we will be interested in knowing why they chose Kisumu in particular as the place to mark the International Day Against Drug and Substance Abuse. But then we are in the process of collecting more information, and we will be keeping you up to speed with news as it unfolds in this area, Trevor.
Thanks, Laura. But before we let you go, how bad is the situation there in the youth you interact with? Is this a scourge? Is it as bad as the report shows?
Trevor, here in Kisumu, remember there's a poverty index of about 34%, and with that there are a lot of street children that roam the streets, and at least each one of the children that roam on the streets have a bottle of gum, and there also has been some perception of a culture of violence in some areas in Kisumu, especially during the post-election cycle, and that has been highly attributed to unemployment, which leads to drug use. So, of course, the numbers in Kisumu, we don't have the accurate figures, but we will be asking NACADA to sort of provide that information. But here in Kisumu, with a poverty index of 34%, drug use is somewhat on the high, because unemployment has been attributed as one of the reasons that push the youth into drug use. So, of course, we will be keeping our eyes, or rather our ears with NACADA to get to accurate statistics, and we will be updating you in the course of this bulletin, Trevor.
Thank you so much, Laura, for that update. Live for us from Kisumu County, where Kenya will be marking the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking in that particular county. We'll also have your feedback, and we'll be putting that up on the screen shortly for you as well. Tweets, remember, the hashtag Daybreak, and 22422 is our SMS line, and as soon as we have them ready, we'll be putting them up for you on the screen. Honorable Mutudo, before I bring in Joyce and, of course, Joseph as well, the laws. There's an amendment bill before Parliament, the Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances. It has some recommendations. It gives the police wide powers in tracking information linked to drug trafficking. It allows the police to intercept information. They can bag, they can install surveillance cameras, etc., and stiffer penalties for convicted drug offenders. Anything that you would add to this bill? Will this bill make a difference?
No.
No.
No. We already know who are doing it. So why are we going to incur more expenses, so complicating a very simple process?
Okay, we are not the arresting. Do the police know who are doing it? That's
They
what
know.
you're saying.
They know.
Why aren't they arresting
Ask any
them?
policeman in the street. Just go to Ludhuri Avenue, Ludhuri Street. They are doing peddling just in the open, that's like Peremende. So why do we need again to have surveillance cameras to do what?
So one of the
What for?
proposals of the Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Control Amendment Bill is the stiffer penalties for those convicted for drug offences.
Let's first
And
of all,
this is direct-
let's first of all implement one simple one.
Yeah.
If you are caught, like I'm talking about that tanker which was caught in Nakuru, automatically it becomes property of the state. If it is caught in a building, the building becomes a property of the state. That is already existing in law, in the current law, anti-narcotics law. Why are we shy to implement that one? Let's not entertain people like with the loud dog barks. Let us go for the thief.
Okay.
And you know, as we like entertaining ourselves, now we are going to discuss this law, the amendments, then the publicity, then there will be the public participation, and there will be all fanfare. All those funds can be used by funding NACADA and the narcotics team to just go straight away and corner the 20 people or so who are involved in this
Have
trade.
you taken the names of these 20 people to the DCI?
Not the current one.
But you took to the previous one?
Yes, in writing, even to General Gaseli. And since he's in heaven, he knows. He knows, I say.
That you did your part as
in
a
a red
citizen.
envelope, in a red, in a red file.
Okay.
And God bless him in eternal peace.
Are you considering doing the same again this time?
I'll do it 1,000 times. I'll do it again and again and again. But you see, just like in NACADA, you must have science-based figures. You just can't wake up one morning and talk about 16%. You must have science. They must have done the research. So for me to come now down and pin on a particular figure or individual, I need data. That data, I don't have access to it because I'm no longer, there's a chairman out there. But I'm telling you, we don't need to revise the laws. The laws are already good. They are good enough. What we need is just one or two crime busters who will follow the law, and somebody with a mind who thinks like the Chief Justice, who thinks straight and who knows the dangers.
That's how you win the war.
That's how you win the war. And we are very lucky. It's very rare to have a Chief Justice who really knows this stuff very well. Okay. It's very rare to have a president who is really very passionate about all this. So the NACADA chairman and the people who are in charge of this anti-narcotics and so forth can do this job easily without doing a lot of things.
Without doing a lot of things. Before I bring in Otoa Sifuna, Joyce, let me come to you. He's talking about prevention, catch those at the very top, etc. But there's prevention at a level like yours. Do you feel that you have enough information about drugs, the dangers, etc. at your age? Do your friends have that access to that information? Are people talking about it in this country?
I think we have the information. We have been bombarded with the information. We know it. Okay. But now the thing that we have not gotten is the liberation of the mind. We have been told, but now we need to remove that mindset completely. But how can we achieve it? We need to create awareness. By curbing those, today I'm so happy that I'm sitting with very distinguished people. And I am seeing the practicality of the literature that we read in class. For instance, we have a book we call Tumbo Lisiloshiba. And there's this character called Mkubwa, who goes and sells his property, and he wants to have a political arena so that he can gain diplomacy. And after he gets this opportunity, when he goes to the airport, he's not searched. So he's the one who is smuggling the drug. And after that, he gives the other people to go and supply. And in the process, we are finding the supplier is the one who is being caught and being arrested. So you can see the big fish is left out there enjoying, and the small fish is in there suffering. So I'm so happy to hear that you know these things. But the thing is, what are you going to do? We know It is there, and it has been there. But with this trend about integrity and corruption, then we are going to be speaking, and then we don't have action. It's so unfortunate. We also have instances like these police officers. Another book called Chozi Lahiri, written by a renowned writer called Assumpta Matei. There's this man called Buddha, and he's employing us youths to supply these drugs. And you'll find that the police getting inside the house where Buddha works, smiling. And after shaking hands, they are getting out laughing and very happy. Katika Kiswahili tunasema hiyo ni jazanda. It means that these people are there, they go there, they are given something, and they get out there being happy. Okay. So you can see, in as much as we want to, this system of education, 844 for me, can say it's good, because there are some aspects it's teaching us indirectly. And now when I sit with such people,
you're seeing very
I am seeing it more practical.
So let me get your view on this, Nyawira. The issue, this report by NACADA says the places of the greatest exposure for students like yourself is inter-school competitions and outings and weekends. In your view, do you think this should be stopped? Leave alone the inter-school competitions. Those ones have a they add value to the life of the student. But the outings, the funkies that people used to do, the inter-school meetings, should that be stopped in your view?
It should not be stopped. In fact, it should be.
In fact, it should be.
It should be encouraged. You know, there is this. I think the intention of starting these funkies was mostly to interact, and also it's good also to get the other person's perspective. You know, when I stay in my school and I don't interact with other people, I won't know what is happening there. I won't know what is supposed to be improved. But now, what you're supposed to be concerned is when we are meeting, can you like take a keener interest on what we are having? For instance, we should have checks, frequent checks. When you're going to another school, we can have even sniffer dogs, which can sniff what is being carried by these students. Because even we have these visiting days, and things happen during these visiting days. Your parents has brought you something, it's not your parent, it's a way of supplying these things. So now these are the things that we need to start looking at. So this goes back also to the administration of the school. We need to have, it has come to a point where we need to show a keen interest and show concern. You won't fight this by by arresting us and everything. In page 18 of Daily Nation, it say one of the points I've gotten is that the war against drugs should not be politicized. It is a health concern since we are dealing with people's lives.
It is people's lives.
It's people's lives.
What do you want to add to that?
Wahiga, listening to the sentiments and the philosophy of this young Form 4 student, Joyce Nyawira, it actually humbles me. And even makes me think that are we really, as adults of this country, as people who have been mandated, and some of us have been put in very prominent positions, are we really doing justice to our youthful generation? Mheshimiwa Mtudho here said that I think what we are doing is we are arresting the thief and the dog. We actually need to go to the owner of the dog. Correct. The other day, you saw, and God forbid to use this example, somebody who wanted to be the president of this country. He actually vied to be a president. He was a presidential candidate. He was nabbed somewhere with narcotics. What information, what message are we giving to our generation to come? That it is actually cool. What will inform a parent like I and Trevor to go into a pub with the little one here, and I order Guinness 13.7 Dublin, Ireland, and I masquerade as if I'm giving her a soda or water, and yet she's looking at it. In matters pedagogy, we say, teach me and I will forget. Show me practically and I will never forget. Can we walk the talk? We are, as a teacher, I think there is much I'm saying lies in deficiency in matters of what parental involvement is getting in, and you can hear it come out very clearly. Parents of this great country, and I'm not negating your ability, is not being biological parent. Live to the practicality, I'm using a term, of being a parent. Number two, if you are a leader in this country, in whatever capacity, can you do justice to? One day, and Mutudo talks of God and Satan, that God will always override Satan. One day, we shall answer. On that day of reckoning, what we did. And I want to salute the president. When this problem was very high in some counties, the president came out categorically and said, we need to do something as far as our youth is concerned. And there were so many programs on Kaa Soba, Kaa Rada, and other cliches that came about. We need to salvage and emancipate our youth. They are doing a lot. They are very creative people. You have listened to her. And I'm happy that we'll put a soundbite of the question that she asked the president when M-Pesa Foundation Academy was being inaugurated, opened. These are very talented people. It is a resource that can actually turn around this country. But we are allowing it to rot. I'm happy that my brother here identified himself and came out actually out of that. I also listened to what CJ Maraga said, that were it not for his awareness that this alcohol is not going to take me. And he said that almost 30-something years after he quit alcohol is when he went back to do a master's degree. This drug, the question of drug and substance abuse, alcoholism and all that is actually killing our youth. And Mutudo came up with very good laws. I read it, Mutudo laws. 300 meters away from a learning institution, you should not get anything selling narcotics. Go to town here. First floor, a bar. Second floor, wines and spirits. Third floor, a school. What shenanigan is that?
We really do. We do have a problem. And Joseph, I know we need to give you a chance to share your thoughts as well. We have some feedback. Let's take a break. We'll give you a chance as soon as we come back. 6 tweets. 3 SMSs.
Let's read some of them. The SMS line is 22422. You can tweet at Citizen TV Kenya, Trevor Mbija. The hashtag is Daybreak. Let's bring them up and read some of your views. A lot of them coming through to our studio. Esther Mushai says, if addiction is a disease, does this disease affect the family? I have seen families losing even 6 siblings plus their dad who taught them. I think it's more of a lifestyle than a disease. Mutudo says it is a disease.
It is a disease. Okay. Stanley Kosgei says, as a former drug and alcohol addict, my take is that former alcoholics could assist in visiting the victims in their respective residence and just give their testimonies on the same. And believe you me, it works. I have 23 former alcoholics that are now free from the vice. Okay.
All right. Good move there. Let's see another one here. Boniface Kiunga says, to my perspective, the advertisements that are all over media about drugs as alcohol should be abolished so as to stop the influence of the young people. Pia bei yake ipelekwe juu zaidi so as to help the coming generation.
Mutudo laws.
Yeah.
But we are so eager to satisfy our stomachs and to forget about the welfare of the people.
Okay.
All these adverts are banned by law.
Banned by Mutudo law.
Law, they're banned.
Okay. Sagioko, in drugs we have 1, kingpins who are in big offices, 2, peddlers protected by number 1, 3, pushers, streets, rugged and broken ones, 4, users, they're hardly known, maintain a clean face. We all focus on number 4, the users, cut the snake's head.
All right. Wow. That's a very important breakdown.
Don't cut the tail.
Don't cut the tail, cut the head.
That's a very important one. And Esther Mushai again says, kindly ask John Mutudo, how can one help an alcoholic who has been admitted in a rehab and passes by the bar on his way home after 3 months of rehabilitation?
We'll give you a chance. Yes. We'll give you a chance.
And John and Kajani will also talk about that.
Yeah, we'll give you a chance to
relapse
give that when we come back. Siongok Dennis, how can it be done when there is rampant supply of the drug? The situation is worse more so at the coastal cities. Drug peddlers are on the loose. We need a serious overhaul in the sector.
All right, let's see if we have SMSs now on 224.
I think we have about 3 of them.
SMS line that you're using. Let's read some of them right now. Nixon Dugire from Kindarum, a very ardent viewer of Daybreak. He says, if you want to finish the cobweb, kill the spider. Deal with the owner of the ship carrying drugs, not the ship, and you'll have killed the supply.
Okay. Let's take a look at another SMS here. The second one, Omondi Oluwande from Muranga. The situation is dire. I teach in a boarding school and the cases we deal with are painful. It's even more painful when a student tells us that they started smoking cannabis in class 6. Most of the students I have talked with, boys, tell me that they first tasted bang during the circumcision period, just after class 8. All right.
So rite of passage can also be misused by people to give drugs. You don't leave a name, but you say drug and substance abuse is a reality. Those numbers are real, and especially our teenagers and youth. Ironically, they are the future of the nation. In the next 10 years, where do we think we will be in terms of numbers if something is not done now? There's need for quick reaches, peer pressured, and the lack of role models are the main contributors.
All right, we take a quick break. When we return, we'll allow our guests to answer those final questions. Then we'll wrap up by showing you why you may have seen Joyce Nyawera at a different forum with a message to His Excellency the President himself. We'll have that and much more when we return. Stay with us.